friends. So not too much happened this week. I finished the shawl slash half cloak that I was doing for Imogen. I'm very excited for how that came out. And I also, due to how the cuttings turned out, I got the little neck scarf that she wears so I can just be that little bit closer to canon. Other than that, today I'm more going to be focusing on, now as you can see behind me, I am filming this after I organized my workroom. But I'm just going to take you through organizing my workroom, and it's going to be something of a pseudo tour of my fabric stash. Now, if that's something you're interested in, feel free to stick around and we can go ahead and look through all this together. So what I am working on here is my to-be-made pile. These are all of my UFOs, that sort of thing. The thing I have in my hands right there is a Elizabeth Comstock skirt, because that was originally going to be my first project back from YouTube before Imogen Temult. I'm going to go back to that one after I'm done with Imogen. The concept I'm currently thinking of for that is personal development and isolation, what parental trauma can do to a person and how it can impact who you become. One thing I particularly like about Elizabeth is the fact that she doesn't stop wanting a softer life. She doesn't become a hardened person or a killer until she absolutely has to be, and the game doesn't give you a choice on that. I find the game's commentary on agency through Elizabeth really interesting, and I can't wait to do that video now. Now it's on to just the little things that start to get out of place when you're working through a massive project like this. It is just putting things away and generally, zhuzhing the place up a little bit. Okay, so for my fabric that doesn't have a board, what I like to do is I stick it in the antique trunk until it is time for a project that requires this amount of fabric. And as you can see, when I'm in the middle of the project, they just kind of get stuck in here. It's not the neatest, it is not the prettiest, I acknowledge, and that's why we're gonna fix it today. So, lacking a proper tripod, let me walk you through what I'm doing, as I didn't really have a good camera angle to show you. What I'm doing here is I am sorting through and putting things roughly where I think they would be best suited. I'm also folding a particular piece of fabric onto a board, which I do have a camera angle for, and I will show you briefly. Essentially, the goal here is to make it so that I can see what I have a little bit easier. And today on Making Do With What We Have, I'm bored with whatever fabric I have available for my spare freestanding fabric. I just fold lightly in between, trying to keep the board as close to the center as I can. As you can see, not much of success there. So I go back in, readjust, align it a little bit better to where I needed it, and then we go for it again. And again, sometimes it takes multiple attempts. And this generally just lets me know which ones to prioritize first as far as project planning goes. I try my best to keep it as neat as I can with what I have. That done, I go ahead and put my boarded fabrics off to the side for now, where they'll usually live in their home until I'm ready to use them. Now, laid out accordingly, yes, that is another pair of sewing shears. Sewing shear count is now at 3. I can now have a strong visual of what I actually still have as far as fabric goes. And we haven't even gotten to the bottom portion of the antique trunk. This is going to factor majorly into my project planning, because I'm going to have to find a way to use each of these. I do like to make sure that my trims also have a board if a board is available. That is why this one gets its own little one. Now, as we can see, the bottom portion of the trunk is not much better. In fact, some might argue that due to the lack of boarded fabric, it is substantially worse. We're going to take today to fix that. Thought I would spare you some time of watching me organize this. These are all the ones I'm not going to be using immediately during any upcoming project. Okay, so as you can see, it looks a lot neater now, a lot more efficient and easy to find things. And now we're going to add the top layer where we're going to take some of the boarded fabrics and put them back in here. This is also part of my project planning strategy. Okay, so let's put that right back in the box. And there. So as you can see, I did do some reshuffling around. This is actually being filmed the next day, as I realized while editing that I did not give you that actual full picture as I promised. So let me show you what the bottom looks like now. And here it is, fully organized. This way I can see exactly which scraps I have to work with. And over the course of this project, I also realized that I also have to do my cabbage batch, which I will show you in a second, because that also needs to be accounted for. So there may or may not be a part 2 in the future. So underneath the work table, which my good sewist friend Lolly over at Grainer Gifts kindly gave me, we have the cabbage patch, which is all the spare fabric from all of my more previous projects. I also have to go through that, so there is almost definitely going to be a part 2. So that's it for today. There's really nothing further. We have that part done. We are waiting on the material for the shirt waist and eventually the cloak. The cloak is the next fabric that I'm going to be ordering. And I'm reconsidering how I'm going to be doing the pants. I'm not necessarily feeling doing another split skirt again. I did see another historical option that, should I go with it when we get to that point in the project, I will happily walk you through my logic with. But for this week's goal, it is going to be not the shirt waist, we don't have the fabric for that, the waistcoat. We're going to be doing the waistcoat next, which I've already started on. I have the top portion, the front facings rather, put together. And that is going to be our focus. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.